Hospitals, places of healing, recovery, birth, and sometimes death. But when the monitors go silent, and the halls echo with footsteps no one made, these sterile walls become something far more terrifying. From real nurses, patients, and night shift guards. On Reddit. The man coded at 3:16 a.m. Paramedics fought for 10 minutes to bring him back, and they did. He sat up, sweating, eyes wide. Then, he said something that stopped everyone cold. "Don't let her take me again." He described an old woman standing by his bed as he flatlined. Pale skin, eyes like ash, grinning. But when he came back, she vanished. This isn't uncommon in near-death experiences. Some patients report seeing figures, especially in ICU wings where death is frequent. Then he coded again, and again survived. He begged the staff not to turn the lights off. On the third time, he died. This time, no one could bring him back. Security reviewed the footage. From the second code, there's a glitch. One frame, just one, shows a figure leaning over his bed, a shape no one could explain. After surgery, a Redditor shared a room with an older man who hummed hymns late at night. He was calm, friendly, said he used to be a church pianist. One morning the bed was empty. A nurse said he'd been discharged, but his stuff was gone. No bags, no paperwork. Patient hears humming again, alone in the room. Next night, the humming returned. Same melody, coming from the bed next to him, but the bed was still empty. The Redditor later asked the nurse about discharge logs. There were none. The man was never listed as a patient, not even in the system. He pulled back the curtain. Nothing there, but on the pillow was an indent, and it was warm. Working security at night in a trauma hospital, Spinal Twist was alerted to motion from the third floor. But here's the problem. It was sealed a decade ago after an asbestos spill. He took the elevator. It hesitated, then opened. Lights buzzed. He stepped into a corridor lost in time. Gurneys under sheets, rusted tools, blood-stained curtains. Old hospitals are often closed floor by floor during renovations, but sealed floors with no access and no power should have no movement. Right? Then came the cold. His flashlight flickered. Something brushed his neck. He turned. No one there. The sensor that triggered the alarm blinked again. Someone, or something, had moved. He left fast. Security footage later showed him alone, except for a pale figure standing at the end of the hallway. A floor no one had entered in 10 years. Mortuary technician Maria worked nights prepping the deceased. Late one shift, she heard whispers from the ceiling vent. She thought it was a radio left on upstairs, but when she climbed up to check, she found nothing but dust and cold air. Every night after, the whispers returned, sometimes multiple voices. Once she even caught one saying her name. But the final straw? She opened the vent one morning to clean it and found her name etched inside, carved with fingernails. This man couldn't speak, couldn't move much, but each time a patient coded, he'd tap his finger slow and steady. Nurses noticed it always happened before the code was called. At first, they thought it was a coincidence, until he did it 6 times in a row. Tap, 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 silence, then the alarms would ring. He never got visitors, never had vitals issues. Until one night, he tapped for 5 straight minutes, but no one coded. Until 4:06 a.m., when he coded himself. His tapping stopped. He was his own final prediction. Hospitals heal the body, but sometimes they haunt the soul, and not every spirit checks out.